Bravo 1234, holding point Bravo 4, runway 6, Luxembourg traffic. Jesus, Chaz, tell them your life story. Hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. As you may have seen by the thumbnail already, we are in the beautiful Luxair 60th anniversary livery today in the PMDG Boeing 737-800. We're here at Luxembourg, ELLX, and we're going to be flying today to Rotterdam, EHRD I think it is, and it is another charter flight. Thanks very much to Daniel van der Linden for once again chartering this flight, and it's a route that they're not going to be doing for much longer, so we're obviously making the most of this as a real route and using the Luxair anniversary livery on this fantastic looking aircraft. We're just attaching the pushback tug and getting everyone boarded at the moment so we can crack on and get this done. I'm going to be connecting to VATSIM in just a second, but yeah, good to be back in the 737, looking forward to it being a challenge as ever, and yeah, thank you once again Daniel van der Linden for chartering. The scenery I'm using is freeware scenery that I got from Flight SimTO. It just updates the standard airport, but I'm sure you'll agree it looks pretty good. I've got a GSX profile for it, so they drive on the necessary roads and things. You can see him speeding up there. Look at the speed of that thing. The GSX profiles really do make a big difference, and I'm not sure why, but previously a lot of my GSX profiles weren't working, so it's a bit of a weird one. But look at the lovely livery down the side of this aircraft. It's absolutely stunning. Fantastic piece of artwork with the lion and the birds down it as well, and the registration LXLGV. It's a great looking bit of kit, and so too is the PMDG 737-800. It's got these split winglets on it as well, not the split scimitars. I can't remember, I think these are called split sharklets, I think. Not sharklets. But yeah, I love the look of the 737. It's a shame it can be a bit of a pig to fly sometimes because it's mighty, mighty pretty. Just as we jump into the cockpit of the aircraft, I'm going to get vPilot open so we can connect to VATSIM. The call sign for today's flight is Luxair 8721. So we're just going to make sure that we can connect. It's just loading all the objects because I've just updated all of the livery files and so on through the fly-by-wire installer. I've also updated the fly-by-wire A320neo after my previous video because it was getting on my nerves with some issues to do with the button clicks and sort of how close you had to be for them. It was a really, really weird thing. So Boeing 737-800, 8721, and we're going to connect to VATSIM, and we'll see if there's anybody about, shall we? Unfortunately not. Looks like we're the only aircraft flying out of Luxembourg this morning, but oh well. Let's get back down here, shall we? Jump into the aircraft and let's get boarding. I say let's get boarding as if they've not already started that. So I'm going to be using the usual checklist I use. I've got this from Fly UK Aero as well. It was on Flight SimTO, to be honest with you, so I just grabbed it when I could. So we've got the parking brakes set. Let's just make sure the battery guard and everything's closed as well, because sometimes, even though they're on automatically when you load in, you have to still flick them. Sometimes it's really, really weird. Left fuel pump and all that's on. APU, let's start that APU, shall we? Today. There we go. Let's get the APU started. Okay, that's coming on, so APU gen will flick over in just a second's time. We'll whack that on now. Beautiful. Position lights are on steady. Logo light, we're going to pop one on. Cabin lights are all sorted. Emergency exit lights, boom, they are on. Passenger signs on. We're going to put them on auto. Packs auto to high, and then we are going to put the IRS mode selectors, which are all the way up here to nav, and then we need to sort out the FMC. So we'll come back to normal. Why has this done this again? This stick that I've got, the Airbus one, always disconnects, and it's really irritating. It's very strange why it does it, and I don't know why. Okay, we're going to go and get all the info off the iPad, which is on here on the EFB. Request the data from SimBrief. Beautiful. We're going to get the QNH in just to begin with, which is 1026. That's the green text down here, and we're on this switch up here. Going to change it to HPA, and it's 1026. Lovely conditions here today, actually, for it to be nice and bright for us to fly. So let's go to FMC. Position in it. That. In there. Beautiful. Route. Flight plan request. That one. Thank you. Set payload. Set fuel. Select route. Fantastic. Okay, cool. That's just going to do it automatically for just a second. Okay, back down to the FMC. The route uplink is ready. Let's load that then and get all of the information in here. Just going to show you the charts. Today we are on the Dick 5 Tango departure, don't laugh. And then we are flying all the way up north to Turla, taking a big, long left-hand sweep up towards the Helen 4 Romeo arrival. Now we're going to try and put in the ILS here for runway 06. It's quite funny actually, we're at gate 6, runway 6 and runway 6. So then we're going to turn left at Doffmu into the Helen 4 Romeo, and then boom, straight in. And then at the other end, it's not a big airport either at Rotterdam, but we've got a few gates to choose from at least, which is the main thing. We may use the full length of the runway because it's not the longest runway at Rotterdam, I don't think. So we might need to use quite a lot of it. Okay, the little bong has just come on, so that means that the words Chaz boarding is finished. I'm trying to concentrate on two things at once. I do this a lot. Sorry. But I'm quite excited to be back in the 737, to be honest with you. I think that it's a challenging aircraft to fly because, oh God, because you do so. It's a challenging aircraft to turn the lights on in, but you do so much more than in the Airbus, and that's no disrespect to anyone that flies the Airbus, but it's a lot more hands-on, I think, with stuff. So I don't know. I quite enjoy that. The block fuel today is 4863, so it's already got in there 4.9, which is good. Let's do the M1 limit. Takeoff. We're going to go flaps 5 for takeoff today. We're going to pop the centre of gravity in. Trim's 5.63. It's not got the thingies in yet, the V-speeds, because we've not told it what we're going to be doing in terms of the departure. The transition, I don't think there is one. Takeoff, yep, there we go. We've got our V-speeds, 137, 139 and 148. Let's go on the arrival as well, EHRD, Helen 4 Romeo, ILS 06. Transition, was there one? Is it Doffmu? Yeah, transition is Doffmu, so we're going to pop that in. Boom, sorted. Okay, let's go on to legs, just make sure there's no discontinuities. Classic. Looks good to me. I want to initially, let me go to menu, FS Actions. I'm going to get rid of these chocks. We've got the Q&H in. Let's just refer back now to the checklist. So transponder set. There's nobody on VATSIM by the look of it anyway. Although, we do have right nearby. Is that Langen? Yeah, Langen radar is right nearby. But we're not going to be going into any of that. So we're just going to be on Unicom. There's somebody else on Volanta that's flying there. Just whatever our bus is. Oh, a SkyUp Airlines 737. That's Ukrainian, that is. Going to go down here. Set the transponder. We're going to be squawking 2000 today. If I can click on the right thing. Come on. Good stuff. I'm going to write that down as well, that we are squawking 2000 because there's nobody else online. Block time today is 1 hour and 9 minutes. Air time is about 40 minutes today, so it's not a long flight at all, but I'm still looking forward to getting this one going. We're going to come back down here then. IAS max speed. We need to do that as our... Is that our V speed? V2? V2, 148, so that goes in IAS MAC on here. And then we need to do the heading takeoff runway on here. So let's just check the runway information. Just down here behind my head, bearing is 056. You'll just have to believe me unless I've shown you that otherwise. I do quite like how much you have to scroll on the 737. I know I sometimes moan about it, but you have to do a lot of it, and it's quite satisfying having to put in very specific inputs. Initial altitude, we need to check the departure that we've got here. That's the Helen 4 Romeo. Oh, I've clicked on the wrong runway. That's a big no-no. It's 057. You would have noticed me doing that as well. What an idiot. Initial altitude, okay, so we don't really have one. Let's have a look down here. Initial climb clearance 4,000 unless instructed otherwise, so 4,000. Pop that over yonder. Banging. Yaw damper, we need to set that. Pop that up here. Yaw damper's on there. Come on. Something's up with my display, I think. It's the things for the switches are off. For some of these, you have to click the base of them. I think that's the main thing. Rather than clicking where the end of the switch is, you have to click the base of them. If that makes sense. You see like the bit where it actually connects to the panel. Okay, window heat on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, he says. Flight altitude set. We're going to be flight level 240 today, and we're going to put landing altitude on as 50. Flight directors then come on, and then it's the moment of truth, everybody. So flight director on this side, on that side. VNAV. Beautiful. LNAV. Cracking stuff. We have got it sorted. Minimums ref. Not going to do that. Shut up. altimeter ref, we've got HPA, auto brake goes onto RTO over there, comms radios, doors closed, bang in. Okay, I am a happy bunny. Let's get rid of that jetway and prepare for pushback and departure, shall we? Oh, stand by for engine start. Okay, we're going to be taxiing to runway 06 via Bravo 4, so we're going to be pushing back facing west. We're going to then go Lima 2, Bravo 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just note that down. There we go. Okay, so we're just finishing our pushback now. We're going to be on Lima 2, Bravo 1, 2, 3, and 4. What is the holding point again? Bravo 4. Parking brakes are set. Bravo 4 is the holding point. I'm going to note that down. Okay, we've set them parking brakes. We'll be starting engines in just a moment. Before we do that, auto throttle needs to be armed. I'm going to pop that on here. Left, right, and centre fuel pumps as required. So we're going to pop those on. 1, 2, 3. And then we have electronic hydraulics pumps on. See, with those you have to click the actual switch. That's weird, isn't it? Anti-collision lights should have gone on before we pushed, actually. Again, stop being a pig. Parking brake is now set. Ground equipment, yeah, and all that. Okay, so secondary display unit, we want that to be engines. So where's the lower DU? Engines. Bang in. Okay, let's do our takeoff trim as well. It needs to be 5.63. So we're going to put it halfway between that and that. It's quite a lot of trim, that, actually. I can't remember the last time I went over 5 on takeoff trim. Going to go about there. There's Madam with the bypass pin, so she'll now say we can start engines. Yep, okay. So packs go completely off up here. So we go off with the packs. And then engine 1 start switch goes to ground, which is this one. Crack him. Oh, it doesn't tell you to put APU bleed on, does it? Forgot about that. Come on, there we go. It's gradually starting, and then we'll pop some fuel in. Okay, that left-hand engine is all sorted. I was just making sure that my throttles were definitely going to move. Then we go up top, put that second switch to ground, and then we will add fuel in there in just a moment. Some very good noises from in there. Put the lower DU off to make sure that's back up there. Okay, and you can just hear the switch changing over now. So before taxi checklist, we need to sort the generators, so we need to pop them on. So that now means that the power is going from the engines rather than the APU. We need to put the probe heat on, which is here. Then we have the wing anti-ice and engine anti-ice. I am going to put that on, actually, just because it's told us about icing conditions. Packs then go back to auto, so we'll sort them out. Isolation valve goes to auto as well. APU bleed comes off, even though it never tells us to put it on, and then the APU comes off. No, not start, off. Good. Engine start switches go to continuous, and then the flaps go as required. We're going to move it down a notch. I think that takes it to 2. Yes, we need it down one more. I just bit my tongue really bad. It's going to go back to 2, isn't it? Okay. That's fine. I'm happy with that. There, it went back to 2. Okay, that might be an issue, because on my controls you can't do that. I'm using the Airbus controls and there's only 4 flap settings, so maybe we change it to flaps 10. Let's go back to the FMC. Let's just make a quick adjustment here to flaps 10. We need to verify new takeoff speeds now. The VR speed is now 147 instead of 148. We need to go down another notch on here, which I think, yeah, puts it to flap 10. Cool, that's absolutely fine. We can deal with that. We might need new trim though. Yes, 4.74 trim. So we need to change that also. These are the little things you need to think about. All because your Airbus controls don't line up. I'm going to put it quite close to 5 just so we don't skimp on the trim. Pop it there. Happy with that. Beautiful. Then we need to do the flight controls, make sure they're free and correct. We can bring that pedestal up actually and, oh, excuse you. Make sure that's all golden, make sure rudder's all good. Cracking. Okay, pop you back down. Taxi lights go on, runway turn-off lights are as required. So, let's pop that down a little bit. And let's let people know, shall we? Luxembourg traffic, Luxair 8721, taxiing runway 06 by Lima 1. Bravo 1234, holding point Bravo 4, runway 6, Luxembourg traffic. Jesus, Chaz, tell them your life story. Up top, taxi light. Yeah, it doesn't like it, does it? Taxi light on. Parking brake off. As taxi. We're going to go Lima 1, so we're going to go left here actually instead of Lima 2. I'm going to correct that on my little thing here. And let's get going to Rotterdam, shall we, as Luxair 8721. Thanks again, Daniel van der Linden, for chartering this flight today. Hope you enjoy the show, mate. Thanks once again for chartering multiple flights to my YouTube channel. I've got one more charter lined up after this at the time of recording. My good friend Jakub Szymanski has asked me to do a flight as well. We're going to be going from Italy in that one. Not going to give away too much right now. Bit bumpy here at Luxembourg, as you can see. Just do a brake test. Yep, the brakes are very good on this 737. At least the nose wheel brakes are anyway. When you stop after landing, the thing doesn't bloody stop. But we'll get cracking down here, shall we? So we're taxiing pretty much in a straight line all the way down Bravo. So we can maybe do a couple of little pre-takeoff checks here just to make sure everything's good to go. Before takeoff, we need to do reset then rate on the fuel. We're going to do that when we've come to a stop. Central fuel pumps are all on. Did we do that? Yeah, we did, didn't we? Do we need any fuel from the centre tank? No, we don't. There's nothing in the central tanks. We've got 4.8 on the block fuel, so we only need to use the fuel from the wing tanks for this. De-ice is all good. Takeoff data, yep. It's just a case of sorting the landing lights, strobe lights and all that good stuff. Press clock, press TFC, and then click that screw there to get toga power for takeoff. Okay, brought the power down a bit now just to let it slow down gradually. You have to give it a push to get it going on the ground, this thing, but then when you are taxiing, it does taxi at quite good speeds. Some interesting buildings around us as well at this point. There's Foxtrot to get on runway 06, but we're going to continue all the way down Bravo. We are going to hold short, and we are going to let them know on Unicom that we're holding short as well, just in case there's anybody about. I can't see anybody on VATSIM. I'm keeping an eye on it on Volanta. But it's a beautiful day to go flying as well. Completely clear sky out there. Nothing at all in terms of cloud. We're in a very flat part of the world as well, so there's not going to be anything in our way whatsoever. That was a bit of a harsh turn, Chaz. We've got Gulf over to our left there, at this part of the taxiway. But we're going all the way down to Bravo 4. Now that apparently is an apron in there, which I find really weird. But it looks like a car park at the minute. We're on a proper Ryanair taxi at the minute. 33 knots, 34 knots now. Then again, this bit is quite downhill, so we are hauling. It goes gradually to the left and then a tight left at Bravo 4. Going to get on the brakes now, slow it down. Then we're going to hold short of 04. Bravo 4 at 06, I should say. No, 06 at Bravo 4. Luxembourg traffic, Luxair 8721, holding short runway 06 at Bravo 4. Okay, so let's just make sure we've got everything sorted up top then, so we can pop the landing lights. It really doesn't like it, does it? Landing lights, runway turn-offs. We can then have strobe light, which goes strobe and steady. Transponder goes down to TA and RA. Yep, bang in. TFC, clock, and then toga. Luxembourg traffic, Luxair 8721, departing runway 06, Luxembourg traffic. Parking brake comes off. Power goes on. Gonna click clock. No. Again, I don't know what's happened recently, but stuff just seems to not work from distance, if that makes sense. Like, I can't click it from far away. I have to be much more zoomed in on stuff. I hope you're all as excited as I am to be back in the 737. It's been a few episodes where we've been in the A320 and the A320neo. We've got flaps 10. We've got everything all clicked and ready. Only thing left to do now is power up and crack on. Going up to about 40%. For some reason I feel like I'm at East Midlands. Up to 50. Great noises. Let's go. Fantastic sounds from the PMDG as always. God, it's so bright and overexposed. It's a lovely day. Already doing 100 knots. It's a wide old runway this, because it doesn't feel like we're doing 100 knots. Wow. V1 already. Rotate. Positive rate of climb, so gear is coming up. I'm actually going to bring the gear up this time. Steep old climb out of here. And we are out of Luxembourg. God, it really wants a steep climb, like 20 degrees. Rocket ship status, this. I'm staying a little bit below that flight director, because surely we don't need to climb that fast. That was crazy climb. Wow. You can hear the trim wheel going mental as always. Aircraft's trying to roll slightly right. It's not behaving itself perfectly. Up on the flaps. Look at that view. Beautiful part of the world. Even though it's very flat, it's a beautiful part of the world. We have climbed through 4,000 feet. It's really not behaving itself, actually. I'm having to push the nose down quite a bit. The trim is, yeah, not playing ball at the minute. I may have gone a little bit late on the flaps, but look, if I put the stick there... there you go. She's alright now. God, it's not playing ball today. Let's put the autopilot in. Autopilot is in. Throttles back to the centre. And that is our departure out of Luxembourg. So, after takeoff checklist then, positive rate of climb, so the gear came up, auto brake comes off. The gear goes into the off position, engine start switches go into off, then the runway turn off lights come off. Banging. Taxi lights should have come off as well quite a bit ago, if I'm honest. And now we make our left turn. Right, BB shot. Okay, we're at 4,000 feet. We're just going to have a look on the departure charts. Let's just grab it on here. So yeah, 4,000 feet until we get to Draycott, or Draycott, I think it is. Dick. Simple as that. And then we're going to go all the way up to flight level 240. So we're going to put that in on here. 24,000. And there we go. 24,000 feet. So now... I'm going to make sure that we've got this checklist ready to go on the other page. I'm going to get the legs page up on here. Yep, we go to Dick, then Go Pass, then Deslo. We'll be climbing in just a moment. Turning right now at Dick. Laugh all you want when I say it, I've got to say it. Going to turn the passenger seatbelt signs. Actually, to be fair, they're on auto anyway. We don't need anti-ice anymore. Okay, let's click altitude intervene. Oh god, where's my button? Boop. Up to 24,000. Righty-ho then, we continue in our climb up to 24,000 feet. We're going to standard pressure, because that's something Chaz forgot to do. Landing lights come off as well. See, sometimes you have to click the actual switch and other times you just click the base. It's so weird. I'm enjoying this little climb at the moment. Not too high to go up to, though, at 24,000. Just making sure there's nothing else to do, really. And now we've got the landing lights off, we're all golden. So we're just going to continue flying up north. We'll show you on the charts yet again. Going up to the north now, towards L&O, then Turla, along this airway. Which one's that? L608, all the way around here. Then Y28, and then into the Helen 4 Romeo arrival. Not too much of a difficult arrival either, just a left-hander at Doffmoot, and then in we go on the ILS. Beautiful. We're climbing nicely at the moment, 2,500 feet-ish per minute, just hitting 19,000 feet now. The aircraft's going quite quickly too, Mach 0.635 at the moment, and continuing to speed up as well. Hopefully the arrival is nice and straightforward and the aircraft actually descends for me. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if you've seen Bosco, by the way. I don't know if he's been about. I'm looking after my mum's dog again, and that's why that door's sort of half open, so he can go in and out of the kitchen when he wants. But yeah, Bosco's about, so hopefully we'll get First Officer Bosco on board and on screen at some point during the video. It's also, as you can see, a very bright day. It's not that bright in here, but honestly, because of the exposure and stuff I have to have on the camera, it's ridiculously bright. I can see it on my left-hand screen. Even Sabrina's a bit washed out at the moment, bless her. But I hope you're all enjoying this video. Thank you once again, Daniel van der Linden, for chartering this one. It's great to have another charter from you, Daniel. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support from you all. This is a fantastic day to go flying, though. Jesus, look at it. Awesome. The aircraft's winding the throttle back a little bit for some reason, because we're only at 21,900 feet. How weird. Do we have to tell it again? Starting to climb a bit more now. That was strange, wasn't it? Was that to do with how late I came into standard pressure? Was it basing it off the original HPA? That's the difference as well. It's crazy how much difference there is. Any moment now we'll get a big boom that sounds really scary, but it's actually not. Ready? Now. There it is. That means we're getting to within 1,000 feet of our requested altitude. Okay, up to cruise. Slowing down the climb now at 24,000 feet. I'm going to go get a drink, enjoy the cruise, and be back with you shortly. Okay, so already we're getting to the top of descent. We've got 5 nautical miles before it, and it's only a few minutes later. The altitude that we're going at is flight 060, so I'm going to put that in already so the aircraft knows what to descend to. But flipping heck, that crept up on me big time. The aircraft, I just heard it winding the engines back, and I thought, nah, we can't be there yet, surely. So now we need to get ready for a lot of stuff. So we need to do in the FMC down here, we need to go to init ref, and we need to go to approach. We need to make sure that we're at flaps 40, pop that in there so it knows what we're doing there. And then when it comes to the what's the other stuff on index, we want the winds, we want the perf, we want the forecast, and we want to get the descent winds in. God, it's really caught me off guard, this. It was so sudden. Just got to wait a minute for it to load in. Is the aircraft descending? Yes, we're descending at 1,700 feet a minute. Fantastic. Good news. And there's the winds. Wait for that to load. Cool. Execute. Bang him. And then we need to get the localizer frequency and course from the ILS. So the 1091 and 56 on the approach course. So 56 and 56. And then it's 1091 on this. 1091. I'll zoom in on this one, show you a bit better. So we need to go to 1. Probably better to go the other way. And then 109. Cool. And that means on both screens then as well that you get this 1091 and 056 go across to this one, 1091,056. And because it's white, that's good because it means it's matched up on both sides. Let me just check on the checklist then that we've got everything. Cruise descent preparation, altimeter check. We need to get that ready for what it is at the other end. So we go to arrival 1029er on the Barrow. So we need to, you see the standard there? It's going to come in just below that when I mess with this. Spin that, and there. Underneath now it says 1029 HPA, so that's ready for when we get on there. Reset MCP altitude, I've already done that, so we're going down to 6,000 feet. FMC approach speed ref, localizer frequency and course. Smashing. Not going to put de-icing on, there's no moisture in the sky at all. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here. Wasn't much of a cruise though, was it? Flipping heck. We literally got to flight level 240, spent about 5 minutes at it, and then now we're instantly descending. It's crazy. No ATC on or anything at Rotterdam from what I can see. Looking on Volanta, so there's nothing at all. We do have a notification though. Ewan wants to be friends. There you go, mate. Below 20,000 feet now. You can see all the wonderful scenery out of the window. But yeah, it's really caught me off guard, that. But we started descending on time, that's the main thing. I think we're quite a bit above profile though, isn't that the profile? Helen 4 Romeo, below flight level 6060. So let's put 5 in. And then for the ILS, where do we intercept it? 2,000 feet for the ILS. Yeah, so we're at 5,000, below 6,000 at Helen, and then Dothmu, 230 knots, and then we turn in. Okay. Oh God, this has caught up with me so quickly. But it is a very, very short flight, so I don't know what I expected, but for some reason I just pictured that the cruise was longer. Right, gonna see if there's anything else needs doing. I'll just give you a beauty shot while I figure it out. Making our right turn now at Jasvi, and then we're going to get to Helen and then Rimbu. Got the course in, only 1 degree difference to what the course was when we took off as well. Both of them were runway 06 as Dothmu, so that's when we're going to make another left-hand turn in. Feeling good so far though, feeling alright actually. It's happened quite quickly today, but it's all good. Sorry, I'm messing with my clipboards. I've just seen on Volanta, these two lads here are flying F-15Es. Skull 1 and Skull 2, they're flying from Aviano Air Force Base to Lakenheath. Look at the speed they're doing. They're doing 1,400 knots at 50,000 feet. He's apparently, what's 24471? He's apparently at 244,000 feet. Something about that's not right. But yeah, they are absolutely caning it together. It's funny because the last time I updated they were here. So they're going that fast. Unreal. Anyway, we're turning now at Helen, as you can see. We're going to make our way in. So I'm going to put the auto brakes on 2. Just make sure there's no other preparation. Altimeter check, we've done that. Localizer frequency and course. Approach arm, and then when the glide slope is alive, that's when the gear comes down. We're just above profile here. It's gradually moving up as well, which is nice to see. Speed brake needs to be armed, which we've just done. No, we've not actually. Speed brake is this. That is armed. Second autopilot arm when ILS is established. Engine start switches go to continuous. Okay, below 10,000 feet, so landing lights come on. Descending well now, we're back on profile. Reckons we'll get there at 10:56 Zulu. That's in 11 minutes time, so not much time to go at all. The aircraft knows that we want 5,000 feet. Might be in sight somewhere. Nothing yet. I've not got the highest detail settings in the world, so we can't really see a lot when we're far away. It's a very interesting part of the world, this, where it's all sort of broken islands in the sort of western part of the Netherlands. Slight headwind at the moment of 17 knots, but that's nothing to worry about. Just checking everything is all good, and I'm pretty happy with how things are. We're ready with 1029 HP. No, it's telling me there's a little bit of drag required here, so we're going to disarm that, and then go to half on the speed brakes just to slow it down that little bit. Okay, we're getting down to 5,000 feet now. You can see the little white diamond, which is from the ILS. We're starting to decelerate and continue descending. Now we're going to put in 2,000 here because that's where we're going to intercept the ILS. Just trying to speed up a little bit. Let's get rid of those speed brakes. The aircraft matches that with bringing the engine revs down. So we're going to go left yet at Doffmo, and we're sort of going to curve around this way. There's the left turn now. There's that little green semicircle coming in, so that's going to tell us when we're going to get to 2,000 feet. It's going to go up and down a little bit as it moves during this turn. Yeah, I was going to say it should come back towards us now. Getting down to 220 knots, so we're going to go flap. Well, that'll be flap 2 at this point. That starts to drop the speed for us. You can see now it's trying to get to 193 knots. You have to drop the flaps to sort of tell the aircraft that you want to slow down in the 737. It does say drag required still. We've got the flaps down, so that's should be plenty of drag. There we go, now the speed's dropping as we continue to turn right. Rotterdam traffic, Luxair, sorry, 8712. Roughly 12 miles out from runway 06, Rotterdam traffic. Don't think there's anybody else there by the look of it at the moment on VATSIM to worry about. We need to come out of standard pressure. Yeah, look at that, 1029. Oh, now the aircraft's going to dive down. Probably should have done that a little bit sooner. It's fine though, it'll catch back up with itself. Going to get ready to arm the approach shortly. We've got flaps 2. Engine start switch is going to continuous. Auto brake is armed. We're going to arm the speed brakes now too. And we're going to turn in. So approach. Awesome. Single. And what else was it? You had to arm the second autopilot when ILS established, so arm second autopilot. Speed brake flaps are going down to 15. Beautiful. Rotterdam traffic, Luxair 8721. Established on the ILS, 10 miles to run, runway 06, Rotterdam traffic.
2500.
Okay. This has all come about quite quickly, hasn't it? Runway is there. That piece of scenery in particular hasn't loaded in very well just yet. Do we tell the aircraft speed? Still going very quickly. Let's bring the gear down. It's trying to get to 171 knots. There we go, now the speed's coming down. And that's when we tell it the speed. What's our approach speed? Init ref, index, approach, 141. Bring those flaps down, really drop the aircraft, come on. There we go. What flap are we on now? Need to go flaps 40. There it is. Rotterdam traffic, Luxair 8721, landing runway 06, 5 miles. Okay, the plane has applied a load of throttle. And there's the runway. Scenery hasn't loaded in just yet, which is a bit of a shame. When we get to 1000, we're going to take the autopilot out and it's going to be all mine. And obviously we have to land it without auto throttle as well, so there's a lot more to do when you land in the 737. 16 knot headwind at present, so that's not too bad. Got to choose where we're going to park as well in just a minute. Here comes the 1000 call out. Both of these autopilot buttons are going to come off.
1000.
There it is. Yep, I know. Auto throttle off as well. A lot of fighting is about to happen, and not just in the cabin. As I try and fight with this thing to land it. Following that flight director, I'm not even looking out the window just yet. Just having a glance here and there. Trying to keep the speed where it is. Moving around quite a lot. Speed's alright. God, it's a short runway.
400.
Got a bit faster than our VAP here. We need to get back below.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh. Come on, give me them reverses. Give me them reverses. It's not giving me reverses. Why is it not giving me reverses? Okay. I don't know why. I've remapped the reverse axis on this as well, so when I drag it all the way back, I get full reverse. They just didn't engage whatsoever there. Still, let's clean the flaps up, clean the speed brakes up, take the auto brake off, the taxi light on, runway turn-offs on as well, landing lights coming off. Landing lights should probably be on while I'm still on the runway, but once again the 737 has me in a flap. Going to come off here at Victor. Rotterdam traffic, Luxair 8721, vacating runway 06 at Victor 5. We've not heard a single communication on VATSIM the whole time. How weird's that? Okay, we're off 06. We're going to go past this line and then we're going to hold short of this taxiway here. Parking brake's going to come on. So, right, after landing checklist, the thrust reversers, that's the wrong bit. Transponder goes to off. Flaps are sorted, speed brakes are back, yeah, landing lights off, strobe light comes off as well, forgot about that one. Taxi light on, cabin lights, yep, APU we need to start, and make sure that runs in just a moment. Probe heat comes off, that's up here, engine start switches go to the off position, cool. Okay, let's pick where we're going to park, let's go Bravo 3, wrong clipboard, stand Bravo 3. And we're going to get there via Victor 5. Victor. Rotterdam traffic. Luxair 8721 taxiing stand Bravo 3 via Victor November Alpha. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this flight, everybody. It's been a strangely easy one up to the point of landing. The landing was good, but it's, again, just reverse is not coming out. I've got the axis mapped on here so that when I go full reverse, they come on. I've seen it. I've seen it do the, like the graph in the controls. Look, I put it into reverse. I've dragged it all the way back. The reverses are in. Look. There you go, look. The reverses are on. They're not giving me any power. Now, if I move forward on the reverses, which is not how it should work at all. So that axis has somehow switched back in the other direction again. We still didn't have an accident or anything major, any major dramas, but I had to use the wheel brakes in the end, and I think if I was using the standard ones on the PMDG 737, it would have melted them. I'm just interested as to how small a place this is. Thanks once again, Daniel van der Linden, for chartering this flight today. Hopefully those buildings, yes, they do load windows in. It is, again, it's a free update to the standard Rotterdam scenery. Let's just make sure how far down we've got to go here. Still quite a way down. Onto November, and then Alpha, so it's first left, first right. One of the funny things I saw as well when getting the Rotterdam scenery was there's an update called windsock correction or something. Apparently the windsock isn't right at standard Rotterdam, so there's a fire engine randomly parked on the grass. Okay, we're getting to the necessary point now. Let's get GSX on as well. So we're going to go Bravo 3.
The chosen position is too small for your aircraft.
No, it's not. Shut up. Normally, this place is flown into by Dash 8s, so they usually have sort of smaller prop aircraft flying in, I believe. Now, where on earth? Oh, it wants us to go in that way. Right. Okay, well, we're going to go around then. I thought we go in south, but we're going in north. I'm going to turn the taxi light off, if I can. Runway turn-offs off. Tight little turn this to get this in here. Luckily, the 737 has sort of Navy Hornet style steering when it's on the ground. So if I had to get it to like 90 degrees here, watch this. Just going to straighten it up a little bit. And then, bang. Look at that. Nearly on the money there with the centre line. A little bit that way. Temporal anti-aliasing is not your friend in this moment. That operative's going to get sucked into the right engine in a moment. Need to straighten up a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Leave this uncut, Chaz. Prove you're not an idiot. Ah, I'm an idiot. Still, there we are. We are parked. So, after parking brakes set, engine fuel control levers. No, we need to go to the APU gen. Change that over first. Okay, fuel control levers off. Right, then we go up top and the passenger signs come off. There they go. APU bleed air goes on. We also take the anti-collision light off when the N1 gets to below a certain point. Fuel pumps then come off, except for, of course, the one that powers the APU. Come on. God. The hydraulic pumps come off as well. Probe heat, no, we don't need it on. Why have you just put it back on, Chaz? And then window heat comes off. Finicky switches. Finicky switches. Isolation valve goes to open. And then the flight directors come off. Electrical power is established. Beautiful. Flight directors off and off. But yeah, thank you once again, Daniel van der Linden, for chartering this today. I hope you enjoy the resulting video after this. Like I've said, after this one, there is going to be just one more charter where we're going to be going from Italy. Thank you to Jakub Szymanski for that one. So keep an eye out next week for when that comes around. If you want to charter a flight, there's a link in the description to do so via my website. There's a small fee for doing it and some little sort of guidelines as to the distance and so on, but it should be all nice and easy to follow. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next episode. What is that bus doing?